1,198 pounds. That was the weight of an ox at a county fair in Plymouth, England. Francis Galton calculated the weight of the ox to be 1,197 pounds, just 1 pound off. So you're probably thinking, what's the big deal? The guy's good at calculating the weight of an ox, but what does that have to do with philosophy? We can use Francis Galton's method of the wisdom of crowds. The way he calculated the weight is he took 700 guesses and found the average of all of those guesses to get an accurate estimate. We can do the same thing in philosophy. We can look at thousands of years of philosophers, of ideas that worked, ideas that didn't work, and everything in the middle. And we can take those ideas and we can see themes and we can see trends and we can build on those to create a solid base for our philosophy today. Let's start with the ancient philosophers. Philosophers like Thales and Pythagoras. These guys weren't exactly top of the line as far as today's considered. They weren't venturing into the realms of existentialism or nihilism. They were just trying to figure out, why are we here? What is the purpose of life? This is the origin of philosophy. They wanted to know the answers to basic questions about the universe. Unfortunately, they answered these questions in ways that we might consider simplistic today. They said, oh, everything's made of fire, everything's made of water, or everything's just math. And those ideas do have something behind them, but that's not all it is. The Greek philosophers came after that. The Greek philosophers said, there's something more. There's something beyond what we can see. People like Plato established the allegory of the cave, where he decided that what we see in the things of this world is not all there is. There's a greater reality beyond this. After that, people started to look for this greater reality. What is there to the universe that we can't see? This is where the Christian philosophers came in. Christian philosophers like Thomas Aquinas looked to philosophy to prove Christianity. No longer was philosophy and religion two separate things, but they were connected. You could use philosophy and Aristotle's logic to prove God. So now we have philosophers and religion mixing together. And we started creating ideas about why we're here. We have the Christian ideas, but then we started to branch off of that. We got modern philosophers. This started mildly with philosophers who were kind of in the middle. Philosophers like Hume, who were skeptics, who said, I'm not really sure what we can know. This could be real or this could be fake, and it's impossible to tell the difference. From this base, everything started to venture off. Once we said we're not sure about anything, we started to question, can we be sure about God? If we don't know that God exists, what else do we not know? Does morality exist? Is there any good or bad? Does our life even matter? Philosophers like Nietzsche concluded that without God, nothing really matters. Your choices don't matter. Your actions don't matter. God certainly doesn't matter. And morality doesn't matter. If we take God out of the equation, there's no consequences for our action. The only things that matter are what you can do and what you can't do. Other than that, nothing matters. So this is the trend of philosophy. We have modern philosophers who said, once we take God out of the equation, we can do whatever we want. Or, on the other hand, you have the old philosophers, the ancient Greeks and the Christian philosophers who said, there's something out there. There's something that says what is right and what is wrong. Now, this comes down to these two options. This is the average of all philosophy. It's this simple. Either there is a God, and choices matter, and there's consequences, and there's judgment, where there isn't a God, and we can do whatever we want. When you decide if there is or isn't a God, then you can build your philosophy. Without those, you can't do anything. So, ask yourself the question, does God exist or does he not? Until you answer those questions, no philosophy, no morality, no discussion, no arguments, no anything can matter in a real way.